Hi, everyone. It's me, Ali, with another episode of Melanin Masterclass, where we refresh, renew, and reveal a new you for a life you love. And today I'm very excited because we have Riana with us.
Hey, Ali. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
Riana, tell everyone why I'm so excited to have you on today's show. We're talking about the mindset of business, and Riana will share a few techniques and a few tips on how to overcome maybe some negativity or self-sabotage that you may have in starting your own business, how to take that leap from having a 9-to-5 job and going into maybe entrepreneurship or into your own business. This is a very important video, so grab a pen and paper and let's go. All right, so Riana, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh gosh, Ali, where do I start? I've had a long career, girl, but let's say it all started back when I was a teenager and I was terribly bullied in middle school. And I asked my mom if I could go to a counselor. And she said, no one in this family will ever go to a counselor. And in my defiance, I said that I will grow up and become one. So I knew my career path early on, but I was also into the modeling and talent field and went to Penn State for speech communications and broadcasting, and then opened up a model and talent school at age 26. And this was when I was starting to, actually from my late teens to my 20s, I was doing a lot of mindset work. And the reason I turned to that was A, I wasn't allowed to go to counseling, and B, at 16, I lost my very best friend to a drunk driver. And I needed to know how to process that. So I became very spiritual and faith-based and mindset around healing and growth and reaching your goals and dreams. So I was reading all the masters, all of them. I was like an avid reader. And I found when I had the model and talent company that they were coming in wanting to be models. Now, this was in a small town, Erie, PA. But their family or their friends said, you're crazy. Look at you. You can't be a model. Like I had one auto mechanic in Erie that the guys were laughing and kidding him, and he ends up on Baywatch, right? The muscle guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, incredible. I had a large size model, Jennifer, gorgeous girl, 23, and she was like a size 22. And I said, can we get you to a size 16, 18? She goes, yes, with Riana, with you, I'll do it. And she did, and she was with 4 special sizes and made a ton of money. But she walked in tears and said, my family says, I'm throwing my money away because I'm fat. Look in the mirror. So these are the messages that cause childhood trauma. And as you become an adult, you have these goals and dreams. These are the dreams that you want to believe in, but these nasty messages in your head hold you back. So I wasn't doing the trauma work then. I was 26 when I had my school that went to an international award-winning model and talent school. And then I finally, once I got my kids in their set and in their careers, in their late teens and early 20s, then I went back to school for my master's in psychology. So I have a triple master's in applied clinical and counseling psychology, graduated year 2000. And set up my own practice, Therapy by the Sea in Southern New Jersey. And I've been in this business 22 years, but I always loved the coaching model. And I found in 2009 and 10 a school, RCI, Relationship Coaching Institute, where I could go to school and get licensed and certified as a coach. And that started the process. And then I wanted to come out as a coach with great materials. So I wrote 7 books, but 2 were for the coaching programs, Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams, and a 150-page workbook on trauma. The trauma piece came in trauma healing, trauma recovery from toxic relationships. And that came in after I had a toxic relationship in 2011 that started my research on why does he do what he does, because it was nothing that I knew in psychology. Yes, he had a high anxiety, but, he wasn't described as the other things. It was something I didn't see. And his comment was, why do I sabotage everything I love? And I said, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And it really pointed to the self-sabotaging tendencies of those with unhealed childhood trauma. So with all the work I did as a counselor in schools with kids in trauma, mental health wards, drug and alcohol facilities with both teens, women from the prison system, despite the age, whether they're male or female, straight or LGBTQ,
It goes
This
traumas.
race culture, there was no prejudice against childhood trauma. The top 10 traumas everyone can relate to. So that's when I started the childhood trauma checklist in 2012. And I've been doing trauma recovery work ever since.
So are you saying that childhood trauma sometimes can affect us in business?
It definitely affects us in business. Yes.
So, this is something that I think a lot of people need to hear because, there are many people who try businesses and they don't, succeed and they give up. And, are there reasons why they're not succeeding or, should they just keep going? I think that at some point we need to take a step back and say, okay, what is the reason and what's going on?
Well, knowledge is power. I know during the COVID, everyone said, well, I have to be at home. Geez, I'll go on and I'll be a coach. And let me tell you something, it's not easy. It is mostly 12-hour days of marketing, PR, postings, emails to your people, responding to your people, having your clients. And I took 12 coaches to help me get to the level of coaching where I'm at. And in August, I was in Forbes magazine, featured in Forbes, and Wealth Insider magazine just named me one of the top coaches to watch for 2022. So I'm like, yes, it's paying off. And you said you Google searched me. I'm like, yeah, if I come up in Google, I know I'm doing a good job. But it's not A to Z, right? It takes a long time, step by step, and investing in yourself and your education. I'm also a mentor coach. I help people become coaches that want to be online because it's not easy. There's something like so many millions of coaches out there. Well, what makes you get to the top? It's a lot of hard work, dedication, which my dad would call the 7 Ds. And let me share this little lesson, Allie, because your clients, your listeners will appreciate this. He said, hun, in anything you do in life, just have the 7 Ds. And here they are. Decide what you want. Super important. If you want to be a coach, you got to be all in, not a little bit of one. You got to be all in. Decide, the determination, decision, devotion, which is the spiritual faith that keeps you going, dare to dream and dream big, and the drive to keep you going when times get tough. Because nothing's smooth sailing. Nothing is easy. And with this coaching, it's really important that people know that the public is very intelligent. When there's many coaches to choose one, they want someone who's educated. Now, I'm dealing with a mental health topic, which is trauma, which involves anxiety, depression, mood management, fear-based negative thinking. And I have to change all that. Okay, so when someone just says, oh, I went through a trauma situation and I healed,
that's a really good point that you're making, because in any business decision that you're trying to make, before you go from a 9-to-5 into business ownership, or you have to do, as Riana said, you have to make sure that you have the skill set. You have to make sure that you have routines and habits that allow you to get to those, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ds, right?
Yes.
You have those 7 Ds. So, whether it's coaching or, you're going
any business,
basket weaving or whatever it is, you have to make sure that you grow your skills and continue to grow. As Riana said, she took 12 coaches to become a coach, right? So learning is a continuous process, and it's very important to be able to reach that level of success. Now,
that's correct.
That's what attributed to your level of success that you reached. What are some of the factors you think that made you stand out as a coach?
Well, I looked at all the many ways to do marketing. It's very hard to do all of them. I do post on social media, but I don't sit in the rooms and engage because I don't have time. So I chose to go through the podcasting method so people could get lessons at their convenience, right? Because I held workshops, and a lot of times people can't make those. So I said, well, if I record a lesson, they can go in a year later and get that lesson. So I had an excellent podcast coach, John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, who I've been to his home in Puerto Rico with his lovely lady, Kate. And he's a master at teaching how to do a podcast. So I now have 110 shows, and people can go in and listen to lessons in life and love at any time. And that is how a lot of people come into my door. They hear me speak. So interviews like this, being on your show, I've appeared on over 600 podcasts as a guest. So I'm guesting a lot this year. And my goal, again, I do a lot of goal setting for business success. My goal was 100 podcast shows. So week in, week out, without missing, I did 100 and I was exhausted. I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of work, but I would not quit. And that's the determination part of the 70s.
Perseverance and you just kind of go after what you want and look for role models. I hear that role models are mentors, role models, which is where people like you come in, because a lot of people, they need to realize that they need to shed some of those traumas or, that they may have from before and get the help they need in order to reach that level of business success. Because sometimes we don't have all we need. We need for mentorship. We need that coaching that will allow us to move ahead and to dream bigger, really. Than
Here's the thing, Allie. You could have all the talent and know what to do and the perseverance, but if your mindset is not right, if it's full of fear and doubt and I can't do it, or I'm too tired to do it, and your procrastination because you're afraid that you won't make it, you're afraid of success, or you get to success and you sabotage it, or you get to success and you quit because you're too tired. The mindset has to be solid. And that's what I do. I teach what's called the mindset for success in life, love, and business. And let's say, why are they interconnected? Because if your relationship is lousy, you can't focus on growing your business.
Yeah.
And if you're really all business 150%, it's very hard to have a love relationship. So a lot of my people are very successful in business. And I said, okay, carve out a time where you say, I'm okay without dating right now. So it could be while you're building your online school, which is what I did. It's like, no time for dating. I'm really going to focus on this and get this done. Right. But, if you have children, you're going to have to build in time for the relationship for your children. But the mindset piece is super important. And you have to get beyond those childhood messages that tell you you're not good enough, or anything you might have gone through, like bullying as a kid, which is trauma number 7 of the 10. Vocal messages are trauma number 2, where if you didn't hear, I love you, I'm proud of you, and a lot of compliments, or an angry parent say, oh, you'll grow up and amount to nothing. That message is stuck in your head. Right. So we have to get you beyond those fear-based, negative, unconscious thoughts and beliefs and norms. Norms are behavioral patterns that don't serve you well. So that's my work. And then we get you into full conscious awareness. You're thinking about what you do, say, write, and then you're able to do goal setting, and you're very determined and really invested and love reaching your goals, because it feels great to feel accomplished.
Yes.
It feels great to meet that goal. It's like, okay, now what's the next one? And that's what the book Live Beyond Your Dreams is about. You reach one dream and then you live beyond it. And you get to the next one, you go, so this is how you keep accomplishing throughout your life.
Okay. So what sacrifices throughout that process did you personally have to make when you decided to go, beyond, full-time job and enter into the world of coaching and do that, as a business? What sacrifices did you make personally in order to?
Well, for the most part, I was always an entrepreneur. I always had my own businesses since my 20s, the talent school, then my own therapy office. But to build the office, I had 5 jobs at one time. I was working in the school, then I worked in the mental health unit for kids. So I worked in the drug rehab centers. So it's like, do what you need to do to build your dream. My dream was to be an independent entrepreneur with a therapy practice that I could travel whenever I wanted. Nobody could tell me, no, you can't take the day off. That was the goal, that independence, which I really love. And I am a world traveler before COVID. That was always worked into my schedule. I figure I work hard, I'm going to play hard, so that was always a big piece of it.
Where everybody wants to get to, but it takes steps to get there.
It's not instant.
You see it on social media, as I, talked about in previous episodes. People see this stuff on social media, people traveling, people doing all this stuff, but they don't really know the sacrifices that are behind the scenes and how long it took for people to get there. It's not just a one day you wake up and you take your laptop to India and start trekking, right? You really have.
Well, some people do, and that's cool that they do that. It's awesome.
Right?
But I haven't. I like to maintain. I have a place in Florida and I love it here. But the sacrifices are many, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay. It's like, wait, I don't need love for 6 months. I need my school opened, right? So what's your desire? So we create the life you desire. What is it you desire? I wanted this online business so I could travel anywhere and see a client just with the internet. So that was the goal. And the goal had to be through coaching, because prior to COVID, therapy people, you had to see in an office. I always thought it was ridiculous. You can do the same kind of transformation right online, like I do with my clients every day, because they're from around the world. So coaching, I could see people from around the world. There was no insurance billing and that headache and hassle. So I love the independence and the educational model of coaching. So I just stopped the counseling, closed the office right after a hurricane here in Florida, and said, time to do coaching full time. And by then I had built my online school, which is the Lessons in Life and Love Training Academy. And then part of the marketing was the podcasting for people to know me. And I had other things. I had an app, but that didn't really move people in the door. I went on Alexa for 6 months. It's like, nobody's saying, I heard you on Alexa, I'm off, I'm out of here. So it's not like everything works, and you got to be okay with that. Right. So you're trying to find what reaches your niche population the best. And it takes some trial and error. So you can't beat up yourself. There is no failure. There is only feedback.
Right. So sometimes we get discouraged when we try one thing, it doesn't work. We think that's the end of it all. We need to continue to try different things and see what exactly works for you. Right.
Exactly. Right. And my clientele is, people successful in business, but struggle in love. Mm-hmm. That's who I reach. So they're not hanging out on Instagram. So know where your clientele are. My clientele are busy, but they listen to podcasts. Right. So that's why my interviews have worked well.
You can work and move and listen at the same time. They're not hanging out scrolling. Right. So now tell me, where does negativity and self-sabotage come from? How do we know if we have it? Or where does it come from? It
comes from those childhood messages or how you were treated as a child. All of it stems back to childhood trauma. And the research shows 100% of us have at least 1 to 3 of the top 10 traumas on my list. And it goes through at least 3 generations. So you had trauma, and then your parents had it, and so did their parents. So depending on what the traumas were and the severity levels, which I judged from like 1 to 10, how severe was it, is how much you're impacted by it.
What are the most common ones? Because some of us, we don't even know. Maybe we grew up with both parents, so we think that we're fine. But I know some traumas are unknown to us. Something may have happened, but we don't even know we were traumatized by it.
Well, that's why the list makes it really easy to say yes or no, this happened to me, or I didn't, right? So with this topic, with financial and business success, the main messages are trauma number 2, which is verbal messaging. Trauma 7, how you felt growing up about yourself, if you were confident or if you were picked on or had a medical condition and you just felt different. So, just where did you feel good enough? That's trauma 7. Also, another major one is family trauma, which is part of trauma 9. 9 has 2 parts. So trauma 9 is if you grew up with a lot of lack messages, like don't ask for sneakers, I can barely pay the heat bill, or no, you're going to have to wear your sister's clothes, those are perfectly fine. I was the 3rd sister, I got all the hand-me-downs. So I grew up with those messages. My father was often gone from the house. We didn't know he was CIA, FBI until years later, but we were always asking, when's he coming home? And then there was always a fight about money when he did show up. Where have you been? Why did you bail on the family? So any arguments, fights, feeling like there was not enough money around, this is where people get stuck in investing in themselves and their education to get their dreams.
Well, what if
that is the bottom line problem.
So how do you break free? Give maybe 2 ways. One includes getting help, right? Getting to someone like you who can coach us or coach people through these traumas, what is
Yes.
another way people can break free of these traumas? Is it possible to break free of these traumas?
Yeah, I'm what's called a CCTP, Certified Clinical Trauma Professional. So in all my traumas work, my studies, it shows about 6 months of intensive training, working with a certified professional to go from unconscious trauma to full conscious awareness and empowerment. So I work with my people 4 to 6 months. So there's a 150-page workbook, all full of skills. So there's a lot to learn. And the major thing is once you learn the skills, the practice. Yeah. So some of the other things I do, we have to address the body feeling first, because trauma stays stuck in the brain and the body cells. So we have to calm the anxiety, get rid of any depression. So I do vitamin therapy, meditation, teach them different skills about noticing every time a negative thought comes up. Research shows 8 out of 10 people have 8 out of 10 negative thoughts. So those negative thoughts are constant.
So it's physical and mental training that it takes to break through these. So it's not only mental, because some people think that if you just tell yourself something different, it goes away, but it's embedded into your cells, is what you're saying. So trauma lives within you, in your cells, in your mind, and everywhere. And in order to get rid of these traumas, sometimes it's a physical practice and mental work.
Yes. Right? For example, let me give you an example, Ali, of a physical thing people can do. It's a meditation of mine called Divine Spiritual Meditation. But the bottom line is the meditation in physics, quantum physics, shows it helps ease anxiety, depression, cortisol level, which is your fight, flight, or freeze response, and lowers blood pressure. At the same time, then it increases dopamine and serotonin levels of the brain, which are your happy chemicals. So my people meditate 15 minutes a day doing a certain process that I teach them. And it helps them calm everything down. Then I put them on vitamin therapy, which is also changing the anxiety and depression. Most people don't think or even know that vitamins can change those things. You don't need psychotropic drugs, which mess with all kinds of systems in your body. You can do everything naturally. So when I get the trauma response, anxiety, and depression all calmed down, now the cortisol is down, because when cortisol is down, you have more focus and ability to learn. So many kids diagnosed with ADHD in the schools are coming from traumatic living situations or home life. So they're coming in all revved up. I mean, I was in South Jersey. I had kids say, my mom didn't come home last night. I said, who was there with you? He goes, no one. I mean, stuff like that, they're like so hyped up, they can't learn when their cortisol is so high. So there was a lot of misdiagnosis with ADHD. I had all my little kids meditating in my office at the schools. So, that's one of the physical things you can do to increase learning, focus, well-being, less depression, less anxiety. So that's just one of many, many things that I teach in 4 to 6 months.
Wow, there is so much to this. And, it's really informative. And, the bottom line is, just to summarize everything you said, first of all, in order to succeed in business, right, you need to figure out where you want to go. You have to have those 7 Ds, right? The
passion, Ali, the passion. And those 7 Ds will drive that passion.
And,
yes.
And you need to tie that into a purpose. A lot of us don't even know what our purpose in life is, right? So
that's right.
So you see other people, for example, doing art. Doesn't mean that you're going to be successful in art. You need to know with your art, which is maybe your passion, where are you going to take it? What is your purpose in life with that passion? So you figure out what you want to do. Then you make sure you have those 7 Ds. You learn your skills, make sure you continue to grow, develop, and the trauma.
And the mindset for success, right? Getting beyond those fear-based messages.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And I am so happy that childhood traumas and the focus on mental health is much more prevalent nowadays.
Yes, it is. Yes.
People never talked about those things. And, we went along through life thinking that, okay, maybe if we put a little bit more money into marketing, if we put a little bit more money into this, and, I would do it so much better. When really there might be other things holding us back, right? From getting the life we want.
Exactly.
And then for you, it took sacrifices. It took for you to, say, this is what I'm going to do. And you stuck to it. And then this is just mind blowing. And, we're so happy that you were able to come on with us. Now, tell us, how can we reach you, or how can someone reach you if they want to follow up with you and do some coaching, and tell us about your book that you have.
Okay. Sure. The best place to reach me is my website. It's my name, rianamilne.com. And on there, you can take 4 free love tests. You have the free ebook, How to Have the Love You Deserve. And in the books section are my 2 books made for coaching, which are called sister books. They're made to go together. One is called Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubts to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. It's all about the mindset. The other one is Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. That one's 400 pages, 360 professional resources cut into it, and went to a #1 bestseller. So, they are meant to go together, because you can't have love without a great mindset and feeling wonderful about your life, right? You can't have a great life without love. So they are meant to go together.
Yes. And even in business, all those things go together. Love, self-love, love from relationships. It all ties together, because so many of us, again, once we break through and we're successful in business, as you said, sometimes we don't have the love that we want. And then,
you have to schedule the time in, and then have the skills. There's a whole psychology. I call it the art and psychology of dating successfully. So a lot of my people come out of very toxic relationships, and they haven't dated for years, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to look for. And it's a dangerous dating environment. There's a lot of sociopaths. Now they're saying 1 in 5 people are sociopathic. Gosh. And that's someone who uses another for pleasure or profit without remorse. So you have to be extremely careful, know what you're looking for, the do's and the don'ts. And that's the second half of my program. I do the trauma healing, and then teaching people to have either great dating success, or they come as couples, and how to stop the toxic patterns happening in their exclusive relationships or marriages. But, and there's a lot of information on my podcast too, Lessons in Life and Love with Coach Riana Milne. It's on every podcast platform out there. And my YouTube channel under Riana Milne has, I think, 250 audios and videos right now.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Riana. We're so welcome to have you. And we will see what the future holds. I would love to follow up with some of these topics. They're so exciting. And I'm just so excited and happy for people to really get the right messages out there, and not just what they see on social media and what they see around them, because there is so much more that you have to look into and yourself, really.
Allie, it's so true. So many people think social media is the answer. And I got to tell you, in all these years, I didn't have one client come to me from social media. Not one.
But it's just that, not even that. I just think that there's so much pressure in today's society to be like the people that you see around you, not only people that you walk around and see, but now you have social media and you see this happening, but you really need to focus inward.
That's right. Correct.
And mind your own business. And then, then
you're real.
What's for you, and try to get the best out of life in your relationships, in your business, and in life in general for success. So thank you again, Riana. And
you're welcome.
We'll see you in our next episode of Melanin Masterclass. And I'm hoping that you learned a lot from today's show. And we will follow up again with Riana at another time. Please leave any questions, comments below, and we'll be happy to respond and answer any questions you may have. And I hope this leads you on your journey to having the life you want and the life you love. Talk soon.
Bye.